The story opens on the peaceful mining colony of New Terra, inhabited by the gentle Altani species. These blue-skinned humanoids have lived in harmony for centuries, never knowing war or violence. Their leader, Elder Kava, oversees a thriving community of crystal miners who supply rare energy stones to peaceful trade routes. Everything changes when the brutal Vex Empire arrives. These reptilian warriors, led by General Thek, demand total surrender. The Vex are known across the galaxy as merciless conquerors who enslave entire species. Their massive black warships block out the twin suns of New Terra. Elder Kava knows his people cannot fight. The Altani have no weapons, no military, no concept of warfare. In desperation, he activates the colony's emergency beacon, sending an SOS signal across the galaxy. The message is simple but heartbreaking. We are peaceful people under attack. We have no weapons. Please, someone help us. The signal travels through space, reaching various alien civilizations. The proud Zentari Empire receives it, but dismisses it as not their problem. The advanced Keth Federation debates helping, but decides the risk is too great. One by one, every major galactic power ignores the plea or offers only thoughts and prayers. Signal continues its journey through the void until it reaches a small blue planet on the galaxy's outer rim. Earth, a world most aliens consider primitive and barely worth noticing. The humans intercept the message, and something stirs in their collective consciousness that other species don't understand. Righteous anger. Admiral Kate Rivers stands in the command center of Earth's newest space station, listening to the desperate message. Around her, other human officers clench their fists. These aren't trained diplomats or peaceful philosophers. These are the descendants of warriors, the children of a species that fought its way to the top of its world's food chain. How long until the Vex reach the colony? Rivers asks her aide, Lieutenant Tom Blake. 48 hours, Admiral. Maybe less. Rivers looks at the star map, showing their position relative to New Terra. It's far, but not impossible. She thinks of the fear in Elder Kava's voice, imagines families huddling together as death approaches from the sky. Prep the fleet, she orders. Full combat readiness. We leave in 6 hours. Admiral, Blake hesitates. Command hasn't authorized. I don't care what Command says. Rivers cuts him off. Someone asked for help. We're going to give it to them. Word spreads quickly through Earth's military. Volunteers flood in from every branch. Marines who've never seen space combat beg to join the mission. Pilots work around the clock to prep fighters. Engineers load every weapon they can fit onto the ships. The human fleet that assembles is unlike anything the galaxy has seen. These aren't the sleek, elegant vessels of advanced civilizations. Human ships are brutal, practical machines built for one purpose: war. They bristle with kinetic weapons, missile pods, and electromagnetic cannons. Every surface is armored. Every system has backups. As the fleet prepares to jump to hyperspace, Rivers records a message to send ahead of them. Her words are simple, but carry the weight of human determination. New Terra. This is Admiral Rivers of Earth's Third Fleet. We received your distress call. Help is coming. Hold on. The message travels faster than the ships, reaching Elder Kava. Just as Vex ground forces begin landing, hope flickers in his large, gentle eyes. He's never heard of Earth or humans, but something in the Admiral's voice tells him these strangers are different from all the others who ignored their plea. General Thak intercepts the message too and laughs. His intelligence reports describe humans as a young, barely spacefaring species with primitive technology. He's conquered hundreds of worlds. What could one small fleet of primitives possibly do? He's about to find out what happens when you threaten someone under human protection. Key themes established. Humans as the galaxy's unexpected protectors. other advanced species indifference to suffering. Human emotional response driving action over logic setup for David versus Goliath space battle. Introduction to human military philosophy. No one fights alone. Character motivations. Elder Kava. Desperate father figure trying to save his people. Admiral Rivers. Soldier who can't ignore a cry for help. General Thack. Overconfident conqueror. About to learn a harsh lesson asterisk. The human fleet drops out of hyperspace at the edge of the new Terra system like avenging angels. Admiral Rivers studies the tactical display from the bridge of her flagship, the battleship Defiance. The Vex fleet is 3 times larger than hers, but she's not concerned with numbers. Enemy composition? She asks. 47 Vex warships. Admiral, reports Commander Jack Stone. Heavy cruisers, destroyers, and what looks like a command dreadnought. They're jamming all communications to the surface. Rivers nods grimly. The Vex follow a predictable pattern. Cut off the target, terrorize the population, then move in for the kill. It's worked for them for centuries, because no one ever fought back hard enough. Lieutenant Foster, open a channel to the Vex fleet. The young communications officer looks surprised. Ma'am, they're not responding to hails. They will. Rivers turns to her weapons officer. Commander Walsh, target their communications array on the lead ship. Single shot, maximum power. A brilliant beam of concentrated energy lances across space, surgically removing the Vex dreadnought's primary communication dish. Alarms blare across the enemy fleet as they realize they're under attack. Now they'll talk, Rivers says with grim satisfaction. General Thack's massive form fills the main screen moments later, his reptilian features twisted with rage. Behind him, smoke drifts across his bridge from the damaged systems. Primitive humans, he hisses. You dare attack the Vex Empire? I will peel the flesh from your bones. And you're done talking, Rivers interrupts coldly. This is Admiral Kate Rivers of the Earth Defense Force. You have 30 seconds to withdraw from this system, or we will remove you. Thack's laugh is a harsh, grating sound. You bring 12 ships against my fleet? Your species truly is as stupid as reported. 30 seconds just became 15. I will crush you like insects, then turn your homeworld into ash. Your species will serve as my slaves, the lucky ones as my food. Rivers cuts the channel and turns to her tactical officer. Commander Walsh, you heard the lizard. Light them. Up. What happens next becomes legend throughout the galaxy. The human ships don't fight like other species. There's no honor, no rules of engagement, no mercy. They fight like cornered animals protecting their young. The Defiance leads the charge, her heavy railguns hurling tungsten slugs at relativistic speeds. The Vex shields, designed to deflect energy weapons, crumple like paper against the kinetic bombardment. Human fighters swarm between the larger ships like angry wasps, their pilots pulling G-forces that would kill most aliens. Captain Lisa Park commands the destroyer Vengeance. Her ship is smaller and faster than the Vex cruisers, so she uses that advantage ruthlessly. The Vengeance darts in close, emptying her missile pods at point-blank range before spinning away from return fire. The Vex soon realize their mistake. These humans don't fight with elegant beam weapons or sophisticated tactics. They fight with brutal efficiency, using every dirty trick their violent evolution taught them. When the Courage loses her main engines, Captain Mike Torres doesn't retreat. Instead, he rams his crippled ship into a Vex cruiser at full acceleration. All ships formation Delta, Rivers orders, as explosions light up space around them. Target their engines first, weapons second. I want them crippled, not destroyed, yet. The battle rages for 3 hours. Human ships take heavy damage, but they keep fighting with a determination that shakes the Vex to their core. When the heavy cruiser Hammer catches fire, her crew doesn't abandon ship. They seal the damaged sections and keep firing until the flames reach the ammunition stores. Commander. Stone updates the tactical display. Enemy fleet down to 23 ships, Admiral. We've lost 4 vessels, 3 more severely damaged. Status of the ground forces? Vex troops are pulling back to their landing ships. I think seeing their fleet get mauled is making them nervous. Rivers allows herself a tight smile. Fear is a weapon humans understand well. Signal the remaining Vex ships. Tell them they have one chance to surrender. General Thack appears on screen again, but now he looks different. The arrogance is gone, replaced by something the Vex rarely experience. Uncertainty. This is impossible, he snarls. Your ships are primitive, your weapons crude. How are you winning? Rivers leans forward in her command chair. Because we're not fighting for conquest or glory, General. We're fighting for people who can't fight for themselves. That makes us more dangerous than anything you've ever faced. The truth hits Thake like a physical blow. The humans aren't fighting to win. They're fighting to protect. That's why they keep coming despite the losses, why they show no fear, why they fight with such terrible efficiency. For the first time in his long military career, General Thack begins to understand what true warriors look like. Asterisk. General Thack stares at the tactical display in disbelief. In 3 hours of combat, these primitive humans have crippled more than half his fleet. His own flagship shudders under another barrage of kinetic projectiles that punch through shields. Like they're not even there. Status report. He roars at his bridge crew. Sir, we've lost contact with battle groups 3 and 7. His aide reports nervously. The humans are using some kind of jamming technology we've never encountered. What the Vex don't understand is that humans aren't using advanced jamming. They're using psychological warfare. Every time a Vex ship is destroyed, the humans broadcast the death screams across all frequencies. It's a message. This is what happens to those who prey on the innocent. Aboard the Defiance, Admiral Rivers coordinates the assault with cold precision. Her tactical officer, Commander Walsh, marks priority targets on the holographic display. Admiral, the Vex are trying to form a defensive formation around their flagship, Walsh reports. Break it, Rivers orders simply. Signal Captain Park on the Vengeance. Tell her it's time for Operation Sledgehammer. Captain Lisa Park grins as she receives the message. Operation Sledgehammer is a human tactical doctrine that other species would consider insane. Concentrate all firepower on a single point and punch through enemy lines regardless of casualties. All ships form up on the Vengeance, Park broadcasts. We're going straight through their formation. Maximum burn, full weapons. The surviving human ships align into a spearhead formation. What follows defies every principle of space combat that the Vex understand. Instead of maneuvering for advantageous positions, the humans simply charge straight at the enemy's strongest point. The Vengeance leads the assault, her hull glowing from repeated impacts. Captain Park's crew works frantically to keep the weapons online as armor plating peels away like leaves in a storm. But they don't stop. They can't stop. There are innocent people on the planet below counting on them. Hull breach on Deck 7. Shouts Park's damage control officer. Seal it and keep firing. Park responds without hesitation. We're not backing down. The human formation smashes into the Vex defensive line like a hammer hitting glass. Ships that should have been destroyed hours ago keep fighting through pure human stubbornness. When the light cruiser Guardian loses her main weapons, Captain Steve Miller orders his crew to ram the nearest Vex destroyer. General Thack watches in horror as his carefully ordered battle line collapses into chaos. The humans fight without any regard for their own survival, caring only about completing their mission. It's a kind of madness that the Vex, for all their brutality, have never encountered. Sir, his communications officer calls out, We're receiving a transmission from the surface. Elder Kava is trying to contact us. Thek snarls and activates the channel. The gentle Altini leader appears on screen, his blue features streaked with tears of gratitude. General Thek, Elder Kava says quietly, your ground forces are leaving. Our world. Why? They're not leaving, Thek lies, though his voice lacks conviction. This is a tactical withdrawal. Elder Kava looks directly into the camera, and for the first time in the conversation, his voice carries steel. General, I have lived for 300 years. I have never seen war, never known violence. But today, I learned something about protectors and predators. The humans came across the galaxy to help people they never met. You came to enslave us. Which of you sounds more civilized? The question hangs in space like an accusation. On the Defiance, Admiral Rivers has been listening to the exchange. She opens her own channel to address both the Vex General and Elder Kava. General Thek, this is your final warning. Withdraw your forces from New Terra, and we'll let you leave. Continue this attack, and we'll send you home in pieces. Thek's reptilian pride wars with his survival instinct. He's never retreated from a battle, never backed down from weaker opponents. But these humans have shown him something that shakes his core beliefs. Sometimes the weak are protected by the strong, and sometimes the strong fight, not for conquest, but for justice. You would let us leave? He asks, suspicion heavy in his voice. We're not conquerors, General. We're protectors. Leave now, and spread the word to your empire. Earth protects those who cannot protect themselves. On the surface of New Terra, the Altini people emerge from their shelters to see Vex landing craft lifting off and fleeing toward space. Children who have never known fear finally stop crying. Elders who thought they would die in slavery fall to their knees in relief.in. Space above them, two fleets face each other across the void. One represents conquest and domination. The other represents something new in the galaxy. The choice of what happens next lies with General Thek. General Thek stares at the tactical display, his pride warring with cold military logic. His fleet is shattered. Nearly 30 ships. Destroyed or crippled by 12 human vessels that should have been easy prey. The impossible has happened, and for the first time in his career, the great Vex General faces a choice between victory and survival. Sir, his aide whispers urgently, our engines are at 40%. Hull integrity is failing on decks 6 through 12. If we continue fighting, I know what will happen. Thek growls, but his voice lacks its earlier confidence. On the only Defiance, Admiral Rivers watches the Vex flagship's weapon systems power down. She knows the moment of decision when she sees it. Years of military experience have taught her to recognize when an enemy is broken, not just tactically, but psychologically. Admiral, Commander Stone reports, Vex ground forces are in full retreat. Their transports are lifting off from the surface. Rivers nods grimly. The battle is won, but she knows this moment will define how the galaxy sees humanity for generations to come. Show mercy, and they might be seen as weak. Show none, and they become the very thing they fought against. Open a channel to all ships, both human and Vex, she orders. Her image appears on every screen in both fleets. Behind her, the bridge of the Defiance shows the scars of battle, cracked displays, emergency lighting, crew members with bandaged wounds still at their stations. General Thek, I'm going to say this once. Your empire preys on the weak because no one has ever made you pay the price for it. Today, that changes. You attacked innocent people who asked for nothing but the right to live in peace. She pauses, letting her words sink in across both fleets. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to take your remaining ships and leave this system. You're going to return to your empire and tell them exactly what you found here. Earth doesn't have the biggest fleet or the most advanced technology, but we have something your Empire has forgotten. We protect those who cannot protect themselves. General Fax's image flickers on screen, his reptilian features showing an emotion rarely seen among the Vex. Uncertainty. And if I refuse? He asks, though they both know it's a hollow threat. Then you'll join the 24 ships we've already sent to whatever afterlife your people believe in, Rivers replies coldly. Your choice, General. The silence stretches across space for long moments. On New Terra's surface, Elder Kava and his people watch the sky, hardly daring to breathe. In both fleets, crews wait for orders that will determine whether the killing continues. Finally, General Fax speaks, his voice heavy with defeat. Very well, human. We withdraw. But know this, the Vex Empire will not forget this humiliation. I'm counting on it, Rivers responds. Spread the word, General. Tell every predator species in the galaxy. Earth remembers its friends and punishes its enemies. Attack the innocent, and you'll answer to us. The Vex fleet begins its shameful retreat, limping away from New Terra with their tails between their legs. As they disappear into hyperspace, a cheer goes up from the human ships that can be heard across all frequencies. But Rivers isn't celebrating yet. She opens a channel to the surface of New Terra, where Elder Kava waits with his people gathered around him. Elder Kava, this is Admiral Rivers. Your world is safe. The elderly Altani's eyes fill with tears of gratitude. Admiral, your people have given us a gift we can never repay. You came so far, risked so much, for strangers you had never met. That's what neighbors do, Rivers replies simply. We protect each other, but we are not your neighbors. We are not even the same species. Rivers thinks for a moment, and gives the answer that will echo through galactic history. Elder Kava, any species that calls for help when innocent lives are threatened becomes our neighbor. Any people who choose peace over war become our family. Distance means nothing. Species means nothing. What matters is that you asked for help, and we answered. As news of the battle spreads across the galaxy, something unprecedented happens. Other species who had dismissed humanity as primitive barbarians suddenly see them in a new light. The Zentari Empire, who had ignored Elder Kava's distress call, quietly approaches Earth about a defensive alliance. The Keth Federation, who had debated too long to act, offers to share technology with these remarkable humans. But perhaps most importantly, dozens of peaceful species throughout the galaxy begin transmitting the same message toward Earth. If you ever need allies, if you ever need friends, remember us. Humanity has announced itself to the galaxy not as conquerors or traitors, but as protectors. And the galaxy will never be the same. 6 months after the Battle of New Terra, the galaxy has transformed in ways no one could have predicted. The small blue planet that most civilizations had dismissed as irrelevant now sits at the center of a growing alliance of peaceful species, all united under a simple principle: protect those who cannot protect themselves. Admiral Rivers stands in the council chamber of New Geneva Station, Earth's newest diplomatic facility. Around the circular table sit representatives from 47 different species, the largest peaceful alliance in galactic history. What started as a desperate rescue mission has become something much larger. Elder Kava, now serving as the alliance's first civilian coordinator, rises to address the assembly. His once fearful demeanor has been replaced by quiet confidence, the kind that comes from knowing powerful friends have your back. Friends, he begins, his translator converting his words into dozens of languages. 6 months ago, my people faced extinction. We sent a message into the void, hoping someone, anyone, would care enough to help. Only one species answered that call. He nods toward the human delegation. The humans taught us that strength is not measured by the size of your fleet or the power of your weapons. True strength comes from the courage to stand up for others, even when it costs you everything. The chamber erupts in agreement from species who had learned this lesson firsthand. The peaceful Corlin, whose trade routes are now protected by human patrols. The artistic Veltar, whose cultural sites are safeguarded from raiders. The scientific Quinn, whose research stations no longer fear attack. But the Alliance's true test came just 3 weeks ago, when the Vex Empire returned in force. General Thack, his pride still wounded from his defeat at New Terra, had convinced the Vex High Command to launch a massive retaliatory strike against Earth. 200 warships, the largest fleet the Vex had ever assembled, dropped out of hyperspace, at the edge of Earth's solar system. What they found waiting for them changed the balance of power in the galaxy forever. 47 different species had answered Earth's call for aid. Corlin defensive satellites worked alongside human missile platforms. Veltar stealth fighters flew wing to wing with human interceptors. Quinn scientific vessels provided real-time tactical data to the combined fleet. Admiral Rivers had stood on the bridge of her new flagship, the massive dreadnought Unity, and delivered a message that would be remembered for centuries. General Thack, you came here expecting to find Earth alone and vulnerable. Instead, you found Earth surrounded by friends who believe in the same values we do. You came to teach us fear. Allow us to return the lesson. The battle lasted 18 hours. When it ended, the Vex fleet was completely destroyed, and General Thack was dead, having chosen to go down with his ship rather than face the shame of another defeat. More importantly, the battle sent a clear message to every aggressive species in the galaxy. The age of unopposed conquest was over. Now, as Rivers addresses the Alliance Council, she speaks not of victory, but of responsibility. The Vex Empire has formally requested a ceasefire, she reports. Their new leadership wants to negotiate terms for a permanent peace treaty. Murmurs of surprise ripple through the chamber. The Vex, who had terrorized the galaxy for centuries, seeking peace with their former victims. What are terms? Asks Ambassador Zoll of the Corlin delegation. Rivers activates a holographic display showing the galaxy's current political map. Red zones mark former Vex territory, now under the protection of the Alliance. Simple, she says. Complete withdrawal from all occupied worlds. Reparations for the species they've enslaved. And most importantly, they join our mutual defense pact. Any future aggression by the Vex results in the entire Alliance responding. Elder Kava stands again, his voice carrying the weight of newfound authority. Some among you might wonder if we should trust them. I say this, we do not trust the Vex. We trust in the strength of our alliance and the principle that guides us. No species stands alone. The vote is unanimous. The Vex will be offered a path to redemption, but only if they abandon their predatory ways and commit to protecting the innocent. As the council session ends, Rivers looks out through the massive windows at the ships of the Alliance fleet. Human vessels fly alongside alien designs that 6 months ago she had never seen. Each ship carries crews from multiple species, all working together toward a common goal. Her communication officer approaches with a message pad. Admiral, we're receiving 17 new distress calls from species across the galaxy. They've heard about the Alliance and are requesting aid. Rivers smiles. It's the same smile she wore 6 months ago when she first heard Elder Kava's desperate plea for help. Signal the fleet, she orders. Set course for the nearest emergency. It's time to remind the galaxy what happens when good people stand together. The Alliance ships turn as one and jump to hyperspace, carrying hope to those who need it most. Earth's promise has become the galaxy's reality. No one fights alone.